when she interviewed me, I tricked her into letting me interview her.
Can't beat that deal.
Yeah, that's how you have to do it when they're on camera.
That's it. That's it, girl. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Facebook. Now you got yourself a legend today. Oh my gosh. And don't let him tell you he isn't, because let me tell you his intro. He has been in the, that's the wrong piece of paper.
Don't worry, I was gonna go with it.
Oh my gosh. This amazing talent you have in front of you in the other square is not a square. He's so amazing. I lost the piece of paper. Listen, I'll just tell you out of my head. We got Wayne, Bigg Weezy Brown here today. Did I get that part right?
Yeah, I normally just go by Bigg Weezy. You know.
Bigg Weezy's here, you guys.
Yes.
And he's been on the road with people like Mark Curry from Hanging with Mr. Cooper. You remember that. He's been on the road with Joey Medina from the Latin Kings of Comedy. He's been on the road with one of my favorite heroes as a female comic. He's been on the road with Leslie Jones from Saturday Night Live.
Right.
You know, he's been in shows. He's been traveling. Listen, I lost a piece of paper. Just forget about it. He's here. He's going to tell you stuff you don't know about him, you guys. So let's give it up right now for our fun friend, Bigg Weezy. Woo!
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I appreciate that. And, you know, glad to be back with you. I think how long ago we did this? How long ago? A couple of years, maybe?
Yes, it's been like a year and a half.
Year and a half? Well, it was before the pandemic, as much I know. You know. Yeah, so forgive me for not wearing my mask.
Tell me, remind me where you grew up and when did you first realize you were funny?
All right. Well, I grew up in Los Angeles. And, you know, which I love Los Angeles, not all the parts of Los Angeles, but I love Los Angeles. And, you know, the weather's great. Every time I talk to someone who doesn't live in Southern California, I feel bad for them. I got a new manager. My management company assigned me a new manager, and this guy lives in Milwaukee. And I was like, man, you poor soul. It's just, I'm so sorry to hear that. My condolences to you, you know, because it's great to live here. Now, as far as when I first realized I was funny, I'm probably 2 years old.
Really?
Yeah,
I want to hear about this.
Well, you know, I was always cracking jokes and, you know, people would always laugh, you know, and I did it in school. I was a class clown, but not in class. I was a class clown on the playground. In class, I didn't say a word. I always got the citizenship award, just sat there, you know, watched the teacher write the assignments on the board. I never understood a thing she wrote. I don't know anything I've ever learned in school. I have no idea. You know, I don't know anything about English. I don't know anything about Spanish. I don't know anything about geography. I don't know anything about history. Thank God for the internet, because now I can look it up if I want to. I just have to decide whether or not I believe it's telling the truth or not. And then, and then of course, so when I was probably 5 or 6 years old, an adult said, you should be a comedian. And what was so funny about that is I was wondering, what kind of bird is that? That's exactly what I thought for many, many years, right? And then, of course, in my early 20s, I decided to go give it a shot. In those days, you could go up to the Comedy Store. I don't know what day it was. It was like a Tuesday or a Thursday. And they had a lottery, right? Which means you put your name in the hat. They pull your name out. And if they called your name, you were going to perform that night for 3 minutes. So it took about 4 attempts before they finally pulled my name out. And I showed up and I tried to write a set because I thought that's what you need to do. And about 15 seconds in of my 3 minutes, which was the longest 3 minutes ever, I realized not only am I not funny, I have no idea what I'm doing. So I did the only sane thing. I quit.
Oh.
So I decided to do it again 30 years later. So at 50 is when I got into stand-up comedy.
I'll be darned.
Yeah,
Oh
50 years old. And then I discovered when I started, first thing, when you're in the backyard with all your friends and your family, and you're cracking jokes, they think you're hilarious. You should be a comedian. My God, you're so funny. So finally, Facebook was starting to make its headway. Then I get on the Facebook and I would just make stupid ass comments on my family's pages. And my daughter one day said, "Hey, Mr. Funny Man, you're not a comedian. You don't get paid." That was September the 9th. By September the 11th, I was at open mic. I said, "I'll show her."
Wow.
And the rest is history. That's how I got into comedy.
Oh my gosh, what does she say about it now?
Well, now she knows that I'm funny. But for the first 6 or 7 years, I give you a story. So I start comedy, go to open mic. And when you go to open mic, you don't know that open mic is practice. You think open mic is a show. So I showed up dressed in a suit, had my hat on, right? And I strolled in there like I was Cedric the Entertainer. See, so I go in there, I show up. It's another lottery again. Had to pay $5 for 5 minutes. So I paid my $5. I put my name on a little ticket and they put it in the jar. And what the host does is he pulls out your name and that's who comes up next. So I sit there for about 2.5 hours watching these comics go up, and they were not funny at all. It was terrible. I couldn't believe it. I'm there for 2.5 hours. And everyone's going up there with their notes, right? They've got their notepad and all those things. I'm thinking, I can't believe these son of a bitches can't even remember their set. So then they call me and they tell everyone, "Hey, this is his first time here. Let's give him a big hand." Right. So I get up there and I think I killed it. Right. So I know now that I was riffing. I didn't know that that's what it was called then, but I got up there and I just riffed for 5 minutes. But what I riffed on was what I saw. And everyone was laughing. Everyone was having a great time. Okay. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is great. So I get off the stage. Right. I'm feeling good because I'm the only one that got laughs. And I didn't realize at the time I was just getting first time love, because what happens is when it's your first time at open mic, everyone puts their pens down and they listen to you and they give you polite laughter and to make you feel good, right? Because but they're really sizing you up to see if you're ever going to be any good. That's what they're really doing. So I get off the stage and I'm feeling really good about myself. And I walk in the lobby and the owner of the club walks up to me and goes, "Oh my God, that was your first time?" And I said, "Yes, it was my first time." He goes, "You're a natural. You know what? We need to book you for our contest. It's $500 for the first prize, and it's only $20 to get in. And if you don't have the $20, don't worry, we have a layaway plan. Just give me $5."
Wait.
So I'm really feeling good now, right? So I go home, and the wife's upset because I've been out of business for about 2 years. I lost my business, right? We're struggling. Okay, she's used to living high on the hog. Her Jaguar is sitting in the garage. It doesn't work. I couldn't get it fixed. My Mercedes Benz is not running. All right. We live in this nice 3-bedroom townhouse, but we moved from a 6,500 square foot home. All right. So I'm really in trouble. So we're dying. We're dying. So first thing she says is, "Did you make any money?" I said, "No, babe, but I was so fucking terrible." But you know whose table is there, because those are the only people laughing at the comedian on stage. Guess what? I had a table of 15 people that didn't crack a laugh the whole time I was on stage. And I still won because they're family. So, afterwards, everyone's saying, "Oh, Grandpa, that was great. Dad, that was great. Cousin, that was great. Primo, that was great. Uncle, that was fantastic." Right? Then they all got in the car and they all drove off and they all got on the phone and called everyone and said, something happened to Grandpa. He's not funny anymore. You should never go see him. And I couldn't get a family member to come see me do comedy for 8 years after that. Yes. All right. But I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. And the host that night was the Greg Wilson. Greg Romero Wilson. Yes, I know. He's fantastic. So I said, you know what? I need to take your class. He goes, yes, you do. And I took this guy's class and the rest is history. So 4 years after I took his class, I was hired by Cat Williams to open for him.
What did that feel like? I would have lost it.
Well, first thing, it's fantastic. I still do it. The only reason I didn't start last week with a brand new tour is because I hurt my back. And so I hurt my back. That's why I haven't been able to work for the past 3 months. I haven't worked since March. And I'm healing my back, and I finally had to start losing weight because, all the medication, everything wasn't working. So I figured, okay, I'll drop a couple of 100 pounds. I'll still be fat because, when you weigh 500 and you lose 200, you still weigh 300. You're still fat. So I'll still be Bigg Weezy. So that's what I'm doing now so I can get back on the tour because, I'm losing like $12,000 a weekend. And so I got to get back to work. But the bottom line is I got hired to work. He hired me on the spot. Without seeing my comedy or knowing anything about me. I don't know why he hired me. It was probably the worst decision he ever made because I was terrible. Oh yeah, I was terrible. But he kept me on. So here I am 7 years later, still working.
That's the greatest story ever.
Yes. So I get to work comedy at the highest level. People don't know what it's like to get in front of 9,000 and 10,000 because he only does arena comedy. He only does large venues. He doesn't drop into comedy clubs and work out his material. He works out his material in front of us. All right. So like I showed up a month ago to Florida. And so he could work out all his material, time it, put it together. And then when I left, he still wasn't happy. All right. So when I tell people I write for Cat Williams, the way it really works is he does all the writing. All right. He comes up with all the ideas. All right. And then he runs it by us. And then we say whether we like it or we say, maybe you should try this, try that. And he'll look at me and he'll say, no, I'm not going to do that.
Wow.
And he keeps going. But he always says, you can say you write for Cat Williams because we give him kickstarts is what he says. We kickstart him, but I think he's only in 7 years, he's only used one line.
Oh my gosh, talk about keeping you humble.
Well, no, it's not that. It's just that he's so great at what he does. But it's like an author. Sometimes you just need someone to give you a kickstart or an idea. Now, it doesn't mean we don't come up with great ideas. This is the kicker. All right. Anytime you come up with a great bit and you give it to him, he tells you that is fantastic. Keep it for yourself.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That gave me chills.
And he even helps you write your own stuff.
What?
Oh my God. Half my routines he's helped me write.
That's so cool.
He's helped me write. Absolutely. I got three or four I've been working on that he helped me with when I was in Florida. So yeah, it's just the most generous man. No one pays like he pays. All right. No one treats you like he treats you. Everything's first class: hotel stays, transportation, food. I remember one night we ate in a restaurant, my steak cost $100.
Holy Toledo.
Right.
It's so good to hear that he's a good person.
Oh my God. Don't believe what you hear. It's nothing like that. There's not even, everybody always I'll never forget when I first started working for him, the only thing I knew was this guy's on drugs. I've never, ever witnessed any drug. And I'm telling you, and I spent 24/7 with this man for months. No drugs, right? He doesn't even, last time we were there, I said, you know what? I've never seen you drunk. When we have a little shot, I said, I've never seen you drunk. He goes, well, I used to drink before your time. I said, I've never seen you drunk. And I'll never forget one time he told me, he says, you can't work at this level being fucked up.
Exactly.
He says, you can't work at this level being on drugs. He says, if I was on all the drugs I said I was on, every comedian should do it. That's exactly what he told me.
Good point.
Right.
My favorite thing that he did on stage was the lion, the person falling in the cage with the lion, and the Kevin Federline, Britney Spears.
He, the way, first thing, his IQ is through the roof.
Yeah, very much so.
Uh,
Feel that.
People had no I'm a smart individual, and my family always used to say, "You're the smartest man in the world," because I made them say it. All right. All right. And then after a while, I convinced them. So, I never thought that there was anyone who could outthink me. This man is on a level all by himself. There is not one subject he's not versed on. And what people don't know is that he reads all the time.
Wow.
And the things that and when it comes to comedy, he watches old comedy. I mean, we'll watch Red Button shows, Sid Caesar shows, Carol Burnett. We watch all of those things because those are structurally sound comedically. Comedically, they're structurally sound. Because someone told me, "Oh, Cat doesn't use structure." Man, that thing is structured out. Callbacks, punchlines, tags, we do it all. It is even the act outs. Everything is scripted like it's supposed to be. I tell every young comics when they say, "Oh, I got a freestyle." Well, you'll never get anywhere. We script everything. Even if we're going to fall on stage, where we're going to fall, it's scripted. The art of what we do is to make it look like it's fresh. That's the art for it. All right. But no, we do the same thing all the time. What makes him special is he has a brand new hour every time he tours. All right. So it's the World War III tour now. It's a brand new hour. All right. So he's been touring, he's been touring a long time, 100 cities. And every year he writes a brand new hour.
That's the way to do it. Some of the comics, are out there writing a new special every week. And it's like, this isn't special and it's not good.
Well, that's what a special is. His world famous line said in an interview once, someone says, "When are you going to have your next special?" He goes, "Well, that's what it is. It has to be special." And it's not special yet, And then, of course, we wrote it in November. And he shot it in December, and I don't think he was happy with it because he's shooting another one in a couple of weeks.
Wow.
Right. So he's really serious.
I'm sorry you hurt your back. Is that mending good?
No, not really. That's why I'm losing the weight.
Got it.
Because it's really hampered me. And the pain medication, nothing's really working except ice.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what it is. I stay on the ice.
Wow, that's painful.
Yeah.
That's got to be painful if you have to stay on ice and take medicine. Then you have to lose weight so the medicine works. What a bummer.
And I'm taking some kick-ass medicine. All right. But it doesn't work. But I'm taking some really kick-ass medication. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, prayers for your healing. I know Las Vegas comedian Trix is going on the road with Cat, or so we heard.
Well, no, what happened is, yes. As a matter of fact, I tell you that story. Cat, part of my job is to help find new talent. And we were sitting in his living room, and he was watching Chocolate Sundays. And they was introing Trix. I said, "Oh, you got to watch this guy. This guy's TED is tight, callbacks, punches, tags. It's textbook." All right. Cat watched it and had me call him.
So cool.
But right now the lineup is packed because he was going to bump someone, but he decided not to bump someone. But Trix is what we call on standby.
That's great.
So somebody can't make it that week or something like that, then yeah, he'll have me call him, or he'll call him directly. That's how it works. Even like someone has taken my place. Now, if that person does a kick-ass job, I might not get back on the stage. But the good thing is it doesn't make a difference. I do other things. So, stand-up is not the only thing I do for Cat.
What else do you do?
Well, I'm not at liberty to say.
I'm a white lady. I thought I was privileged enough to know. Sorry.
You are. You are privileged enough to know, but I just can't say. I'm I'm contractually obligated to speak about certain things, and other things I cannot speak about. I signed an NDA, and that's what I do. I follow it.
That's great. I'm glad nobody has ever offered me a non-disclosure. That's why I talk too much.
That's all right. The only thing what the thing about a non-disclosure agreement, that just means that if you divulge something, we'll just sue you and take everything you have. See, so if I ever divulge something and Cat sued me and take everything, he'd be taking back the money he's already paid me. So it's still not that, right? I'm not even losing anything.
Oh, that's great. So what's the legacy in life, on stage and off stage, that you want to leave the world? How do you want to leave the world a better place? And then I'll let you go.
Oh, I've already done that. I left my children. My 15 grandchildren, my 28, 29 great grandchildren. That's my legacy.
Holy
My ex-wives, they have nothing but great things to say about me. Someone asked me the
you're
other
not
day.
Married?
No, hell no. No, I want to be married again. I've got 3 women I'm in love with right now. I'm still in love with my second ex-wife. All right, but she won't take me back. All right. And then
what's her number?
I got an NDA with that too. And then there are 2 other women that I'm in love with too. The great thing is I've never had the opportunity to be in love with 3 women at the same time, because when you're married, you can only be in love with the woman you're married to.
Yeah.
So I'm actually enjoying this part about being single. I've only been single 4 years out of my life. And I'm enjoying this, right? I'm really enjoying this. I can be in love with 3 women. I can call them anytime I want. I can have a long conversation with them. We can go out and eat every now and then. But the best part is that when I order DoorDash, I don't have to check with anyone to see what they want. That is great, right? When I watch television, I watch whatever I want on television, right? I record my show. No one's going to accidentally, erase my show. Okay? I throw my underwear on the ground when on the floor of my bedroom, and I don't have to worry about her stepping in my underwear because it's wet. Right? Oh, sorry. See, it's my ex-wife calling me right now. So I don't have to worry about stepping in, or stepping in my wet underwear, because I'm 61 years old. So yeah, there's going to be some piss in my underwear. It's no big deal, right? So I get to throw that on the ground, right? And if I don't feel like taking a shower, I don't have to shower. When I was married, I had to shower twice a day, because you have to be ready to have sex when you're married. Because the longer you're married, the less it happens. But you have to take 2 showers a day just in case it happens unexpectedly. Because you've got your regularly scheduled sex days, right? But then every now and then you'll have an unscheduled, episode. Right? Because the only time you have really good kick-ass sex when you're married is when you leave to go out of town or something, or you're on vacation and it's a different spot and she feels better. Other than that, she's constantly at home working, doing everything. She's tired. And what do? We want to have sex. So, and the thing is that at my age, I only needed a couple of, every 2 weeks. I just need one good orgasm every 2 weeks. That's all I need. A kick-ass orgasm every 2 weeks. Oh, look, I just got a text from my ex-wife. I'm sorry for being rude to you last night. She was rude to me last night. She got upset.
That's nice.
There was nothing wrong with her being upset, but she's only sending me that text right now that came across my iPad because she wants me to buy her some food. I know the trick.
Wow. Holy Toledo. Women can be so manipulative.
Hey, I like being manipulated. See, the best part about being manipulated, Linda, is recognizing you're being manipulated. It's bad when you're manipulated and don't know you were manipulated. All right. But I know I'm being manipulated. I've got no problem. I'm participating in the manipulation.
You're giving your consent.
Absolutely. 100%. Why? Because it's been a week and next week's my day. See, it'll be 2 weeks next Wednesday. A week from today will be 2 weeks. So a week from today, I'll show up at 2:00 in the afternoon. We'll eat. We'll watch a movie. I'll leave at about 6. So at 5:30, she'll say, I know what you're here for. And I'm like, yes. So I get married sex. And people are like, what's married sex? No foreplay whatsoever. That's married sex. No foreplay. Come on, get it. No problem. No foreplay, no kissing, none of that. You know, none of that. Like when I was engaged, I had to have movie sex when I was engaged, right? 3 hours every single time. Right there, I get 7 minutes and I'm out. Perfect. That's what I'm talking about. So next week from today.
Oh my God. Oh my God, you're hilarious. This is your real life. Just think what it's like on stage. Is this what you do on stage? You just talking like this and make it look like you just thought of it?
No. My stuff is scripted, it's thought out, it's tested, it's true, because you have to know when the audience is going to laugh. Yeah. So you don't step on their laughs. New comedians don't know that, you know, especially when they say something when they're riffing or they forget their set, then they say something and the audience laughs and they go, oh my God, they laugh. So what they do is they start chasing that laugh, what we call chasing the punchline, right? And they start chasing it and they get off kilter and then they can't remember what they're supposed to do. And then they'll say something stupid like, what do you want to talk about? Or how long you guys over there been married, right? Or, so it's always something. I mean, us professionals, we know, right? The audience doesn't know, but we know. As soon as someone says, okay, so what do you guys want to talk about? Oh, this fucking rookie. Yeah, this guy's a rookie. He's ruining it for me, right? Because now I got to go up there and bring the audience back into being funny.
Yep.
All right. Somebody goes up there and has a bad set, or like like we used to call it bombing, right? Then I got to go up. Right. That's why you always need a kick-ass host, because that's the host's responsibility. All right. But then so many people don't know how to host. I went to hosting school, so I know how to host. Most people don't go to school, they don't understand hosting whatsoever. That's why when I used to work, that's the best thing about working for CAT, because you have to know how to host for 9,000 people.
So how is hosting for like 150 people different than 9,000?
Because 9,000 people are unforgiving. When you're in a comedy club and they don't like you, they just don't laugh. And if you're really bad and they've been there a while, you walk them. Walk them means people get up and walk out while you're talking, right? So sometimes we'll be back there and a guy who's not doing well, and then 4 people walk. I can't believe this guy just walked 4 people. All right. So they walk. In arena comedy, they boo you.
Wow.
They boo. And they boo you like you're the superstar of another team.
Wow.
Yes. That so it's a completely different energy. It's a completely different way of working. When I first started doing it, then I couldn't work in comedy clubs for a while, or bars or restaurants. I lost my mojo. So now I've developed the 2 different voices that I need to do both venues. So yeah, it's really something.
Okay, so the voice that you use in an arena atmosphere would be different in that you talk a little slower so the big audience gets to hear it all?
No. In our business, voice is a code word for style. Your voice is a style. When people start in comedy, young comedians, they hear that term, right? And they hang around with people who don't know what they're talking about, because most people in the comedy clubs don't know what they're talking about. I have a reputation for knowing exactly what I'm talking about because I studied this, all right? Voice is a code word for style, but they'll walk around saying, oh, I can't wait to find my voice. Well, my voice, I didn't find. My voice, I manufactured it. Greg Wilson gave me my voice.
Wow.
All right. So that's what it is. It's your style. Now, you need more energy. Your voice you have to have more energy on stage. You can still speak softly, like for instance, Mark Curry. Mark Curry doesn't have a high energy style of doing comedy, but it's so integral and so precise and so brilliantly written that it works for him in front of 9,000 people. And he still brings the same amount of energy that's needed. Also, Zoo Miller, who's with Cat, been doing comedy a long time. He's on the wall at the Comedy Store and all those things. He incorporates impressions in his act. All right, because people confuse comedy when you say you do impressions. They confuse impressions with you impersonating someone famous. An impression in comedy is when you're actually doing your mom's voice. You know, this is what my mom sounds like. All right. So the audience doesn't know what your mom sounds like. So whatever you manufacture, they're going to believe that's your mom. The idea is to do it in a way that it separates that voice from what you're actually talking about. Now, people do this all the time in their natural life. This is what they'll do. You know what? I talked to Tommy the other day, and Tommy was like, I can't believe that you went to that, right? Right? Tommy gets that voice, right? We all give somebody that ugly voice. And it's the same voice, whoever it is. To your brother, oh, I talked to my brother. My brother was like, I can't believe that, right? Those are impressions, all right? Those are impressions, okay? But he does it where he's able to separate it, especially when he's doing conversations that he's having between him and his wife, all right? Or things that they're talking about. So that is what your voice is, and that's the difference when you're working in those large venues. That's why when you see comedy specials and comedians on television in front of large audiences, they walk all over the stage. But really, you never walk all over the stage. That's how another way we know someone's new. You walk into a comedy club and you have a young comedian up there and they're walking left to right on the stage and they're looking down. Right? You're supposed to stand in the middle of the stage with the light on you and look directly to the audience. All right. I work in a 3 to 6 foot box on stage, and you stay in the light. When I'm on a big stage, the light follows me. The spotlight follows me. But in a comedy club, it doesn't. You have to stay in that light. The first thing I do when I walk into a club is find out where the center of the light is, because I wear hats, and you can't have a shadow come down on your face with the hat on. So that's why I wouldn't wear this hat on stage. The brim is not built right for the light. It has to be a lowrider type brim that curls in the front.
Okay.
You know? Or I'd have to wear it like this, you know. But there's a lot of integral parts to what we do. I've studied it. You know, I don't really work with young comedians anymore. It's very hard to do it, you know, because they all think they're funny. I mean, I used to think I was funny.
Yes, it's very hard. Very hard.
It's a very difficult business, you know, because the biggest problem young comedians have is they're nervous when they go up and they say, I sure hope they laugh. And that's the way it works. When you first start, you wish that they laugh. Then you get a little bit of experience, then you hope they laugh. Then you get really good, and then you tell them when to laugh. And then when you're fantastic, you don't give a fuck if they laugh. All right? That's how it works. So when I go on stage, I'm not worried about whether or not they're going to laugh. All right? I worry about how good they're going to laugh. All right? Because the goal is to get them to laugh like Cat Williams makes them laugh. And you have to be super famous, because he gets on there and it's a frenzy and they're yelling and they're stomping their feet in the stands. And those are the stands in the bottom bowl. Those stands are portable because they move them in and out. And so they rock like they're bleachers in a high school gym. And they're just rocking that place. And it's an amazing thing to watch, because we're out there and we're getting kick-ass laughs. And he walks out there and they're spitting up their drinks. They're doubling over. They're doing all those things.
Wow.
Right? And he'll get off the stage after all of that. And he'll walk up to me and he'll say, Weezy, how did I do?
Oh.
Just like we all do. I tell people, every comic says that. Dave Chappelle, everyone wants to know how they did.
Oh.
You know.
That's so special.
And if I'm not there, it'll be Red Grant or Linnell or anyone else, any one of the trusted people.
Wow.
You
That
know.
is so cool.
Yeah.
You shared a lot. Thank you so much for opening up your life and all your knowledge for us.
No problem, girl. I'm happy to do it, because a lot of people don't realize the hours it takes to do this job. It's, you know, I spend probably 15 hours a day, you know,
wow.
And when I'm with Kat, it's a 20-hour day, you know. And I'll give you one quick anecdote. So I show up, right? I show up, I get there, you know, my plane lands, everything, get my rental car. I show up to his house at 5 o'clock, right? By 5:10, we're working. I go to bed at 6:30 in the morning. He's still up. I wake up at 11. He is up already. We start working again till 6:30 in the morning the next day. I go to bed. He's still up. I wake up at 11:30. He's up. Then we work again till 6:30 in the morning. right? Did that for like 5 straight days. And then I finally saw him go to sleep for 6 hours. I'm like, oh my God, I got a 6-hour lunch break. The man works, it's tireless. It's tireless. And I tell people that's what it takes. So when someone tells me they're grinding or working hard, in my head, I'm thinking, you have no fucking idea what you're doing. You're not even grinding. You're just trying, but you got to experience. So I'm lucky because I saw that and experienced that. I know how to work now. I know what it takes to maintain the level of comedic competency that I need in order to continue to grow as a comedian.
My goodness sake.
Yeah.
That's encouraging. That's what that is.
Yeah.
That's the real scoop. Thank you
The
so
real
much.
No, thank you, Linda, for having me. I appreciate it very much.
Will you please come back often?
Of course, absolutely. I'll see you again in 1.5 years, girl.
1.5 years. I won't make it. I need you sooner than that.
Well, all you do is just hit me up like you did this time. And when I'm available, I'll be happy to come on. Absolutely.
Thank you, Bigg Weezy. Don't you love him, everybody? Oh my gosh. Woo!
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
you guys
you.
take care.
They'll be looking at it later. Thank you, Bigg Weezy.
You're welcome. You take care.
Bye. God bless.
All right. Bye-bye.
Get your back better.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.